Welcome back, Warriors, to yet another Battlefield 2042 video. I'm your commanding officer, Major Doodleman149, and today I'll be taking a look at this initial battle and figuring out what the brass up at DICE needs to do better to give our soldiers a fighting chance out in the field. In my humble opinion, these changes need to be implemented to save this operation from itself. I have suggestions from everything from logistical issues to specialist changes. Let's not waste any of your time though, recruits. Let's see how this future operation can be improved. First of all, let's address the elephant in the room, the specialist system. Now, despite what you may all think, I am not 100% against the use of specialists. I am completely opposed to specialists replacing our run-of-the-mill soldiers. What needs to happen to make specialists more viable is to instead turn them into essentially pickup classes, much like Operation Battlefield 1 had with sentries and flame troopers. The specialists can have unique weapons and their unique gadgets along with increased health, but they shouldn't be the replacement for the everyman. That would certainly put the special into the specialists. This operation needs to be handled better logistically as well. While I understand the intel and kit we're working with during Operation Open Beta is months old at this point, the fact that the operation is in this state while the bulk of our forces will be deploying in a month leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Personally, given how this operation is playing out and the opinions I hear from us early enlisters, the operation will likely be pushed back to Christmas in order to iron out the finer details. An operation of this time shouldn't be plagued with so many technical issues, such as enemies with phased technology, especially when the brass at DICE had several years to plan and get things in place for our deployment. The hot swapping of attachments is not something I care for. What I care for even less is that my newly deployed troops can't even kit their weapons the way they want to before they deploy to the battlefield. The fact that they cannot customize their weapons prior to their boots hitting the ground is ridiculous. I know the brass wants to show off their new fancy tech with this, but this method of attachment should be optional, not mandatory. There must be something wrong with the helmets that my boys and I have been equipped with because they need to have better audio features. Everything is so quiet that my situational awareness on the battlefield is hindered, costing myself and my soldiers some firefights. Every weapon just sounds awful. Sound needs a rework overall. Now, while all of these suggestions are highly unlikely to be implemented or even seen by anyone outside of the Skullcrusher platoon, this last suggestion is the least likely to occur. There should be faction-specific specialists. When my troops and I, who mostly seem to be clones of myself, run into even more clones of myself, the battles can get very confusing. I shouldn't have to look for a red outline or a red name on my HUD to differentiate between a friendly and hostile Casper. Even if the brass needs to deploy nearly identical specialists for each side in terms of abilities, not using clones would add greater variety and ease of target acquisition to even the most trivial of combat situations. So that is all, Warriors. I've expressed my opinions on the state of our initial engagement and offer ways for the brass to assess and remedy these problems here on the ground. As always, I expect my opinions to be debated by other officers, so feel free to inform me of your own opinions, recruits. You have permission to speak freely. So in conclusion, if you felt your CO has done an adequate job today in this briefing, then please hit that thumbs up and subscribe button in the bottom right of your HUD to never miss out on more of my coverage of Battlefield 2042. And with that, I've been your CO, Major Doodleman149, and until our next briefing, you are all dismissed!